Longhorn Nation. We're back.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Fire the Cannon. I'm Rocky.
And I'm Megan, and we are Fire the Cannon.
And we're together, Megan.
I know, it's been a minute, hasn't it?
It's been a minute. We were always recording together before, and then it just got easier just to make it happen. You do from your place, I do from my place. But
I haven't seen you in like 14 years, it feels like. So a week. Yeah. We needed some bestie time, I feel like.
Yeah. So welcome back. We have a full show tonight. Lots to talk about. You were in Starkville, and I was listening to, I think it was on Texas Football or something, and they were saying they were calling it Sarkville.
It looked.
Love it. Woo. We're going to talk about it. The atmosphere, the highs and lows.
Yeah.
The craziness of the comeback, a historic, college football historic comeback. You know, we've seen people say 429 times, the last 429 games that a team was down 17 with 10 minutes left, they lost.
Yeah.
Texas found a way to win. So we're going to talk about that. You were there at Mississippi State. We're going to give a little love, always like we do to the Texas volleyball team. We will talk about, look ahead to Vanderbilt. Vandy's coming to town, top 10 team.
Yep.
Can't play around. And then college football, bigger picture. And then we have some fun top stories we wanted to share. Megan, how you doing? It's Halloween.
I'm good. Look, I love Halloween. I feel so underprepared for it this year. Normally I have my outfit picked out. Like I know what I'm going to dress up as. I've got plans. And I feel like right now I'm like that Ricky Bobby, like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm not ready for it. But I think some of that comes from just all the crazy travel in October. I realized
6 weeks.
Yeah, we've been on the road. Shout out to my girl Stevie for like rocking the travel with me. But I will tell you, driving to games every weekend, especially when they're in, Florida. I mean, Dallas wasn't a big deal, but then you've got Kentucky, then you've got Mississippi State, and I take the dogs and everything, which I love doing. But I'll tell you, like,
it's exhausting. I
didn't realize how tight. Yeah,
I don't know how to do it. I'm not a road trip person.
Yeah.
No, I want to fly, get there, and then fly and get home.
Yeah.
And if I'm delayed, at least I'm in with a drink at the airport and not.
I like the road trip
on the highway.
I like the road trip.
You're a road warrior.
I do. I like driving. I like to do the things I want to do. I can make changes in my itinerary, but I will tell you.
You can do that too on the app when you have it.
Yeah, right. No, but I mean, like we stopped at LSU on the way home.
Oh, that's cool. Like
that was cool. You could do stuff like that.
Yeah,
that was a good time. But yeah, I just didn't realize how tired I was, and getting back after this month of travel and just having a minute to take a beat and go, shit. All right. Well, I think I added it up and I did something like 7,500 miles in a month. Just for Texas football. Football. So,
I literally don't drive that in a year.
I know.
I literally do not drive that in a year.
Yeah.
Well, if I had told you that a month ago when we were about to hit the road and be away from DKR for 42 days, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I had told you we were going to come back and we were going to be 3-1 in those games, would you have been all right with that?
I think I would have been okay with it. I think I would have.
If I told you,
if I didn't
Florida,
know,
OU, Mississippi State, Kentucky, if I told you 4 SEC games and we're on the road, one was neutral, but all away from DKR, and Texas was going to come back 3-1, would you say, all right?
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with that. I mean, retrospect, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think I probably would have picked different games that, like, I would have anticipated to go 3-1, but at the same time, like I've been saying this, I know a lot of Texas fans are down, and we know that this season hasn't necessarily gone the way that maybe we anticipated in the first week or week 0 or whatever. But yeah, man, I think if you look at that and you go, hey, we haven't played at home in 42 days. And like we're always told, the SEC is a grind, and Texas comes away from almost a 6 week run of road games or away from home games, and we come back 3-1. Yeah, man, like I would take that. I think I would take that. I don't think. Look, we always want to win every game. We always want to be out there. We want to be in contention for the SEC championship. And while this season hasn't gone the way that we hoped or expected or anticipated, I mean, is small as the window may be, Texas still has all of their goals ahead of them. So, yeah, I mean, there's no room for error, and we haven't done it in the prettiest of fashions. But at the end of the day, yeah, at the end of the day, we're sitting at 6-2. You know, one conference loss. I'll take it. I'll take it. I think there's stuff to build on. There's places to go.
Losing to the team that fired their coach a couple days later.
Yeah, look,
a couple weeks later, it stinks.
It does, but it's
if that's what lights a fire under them, that they know they cannot give up another game, and we'll get to that tonight when we talk about what it took to come back at Mississippi State, and what they have with Vanderbilt coming this week. So it's Halloween, right? As always have Halloween plans. In my house, we always do a karaoke in the front yard. We set up karaoke with the disco lights, and the kids can, they can trick or treat and get candy, or they can sing karaoke, and they love that. So at our house, we're known as like the karaoke house, and we set up the little karaoke machine, and the kids love to sing whatever song. This year, we're adding a little thing to it where Nadia is setting up like this tattoo station. And we found this idea on Instagram, and they're setting up, we're doing this whole tattoo set, but it's temporary tattoos. But she's going to set it all up with like a tattoo station for the kids that are trick-or-treating, can also get like a cool Halloween or fun, temporary tattoo. That's kind of cool. So we're doing that this year. It should be 72-degree high on Friday, sunny, and then get chilly in the evening. So good,
which is
Halloween,
cool, man.
Trick-or-treat weather, right?
I feel like it's been a long time since we've had a cold Halloween. I remember as a kid, like going in trick-or-treating when I was little.
You never know on Halloween if it's going to be freezing or hot.
Yeah, but
in Austin.
I feel like when I was a kid, and maybe I'm just selective memorying here, but like I feel like when I was a kid, every Halloween was cold. Like we had to have a contention in the costume to warm up as a kid, right? And now I remember it is like, now it just seems like it's either going to be 90 degrees and you're sweating your ass off, or like there's a cold snap. So I'm happy. I'm all for fall weather. Bring on the cold, bring on the chilly. I'm here for it.
All right, so let's stop and give a little love to Scott Wilson. I know he's a good friend of yours. His family has shared this update, and so we absolutely want to take a moment and send some love to the family. Megan, I'll let you, because you're much, much closer to Scott than I.
Yeah, and so this is actually one of the earlier updates. There has been a more recent update.
Oh, I have a more recent one. Sorry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the note from Sissy, from Scott's sister, has been that he is not doing well. He's taken a turn for the worse. He's still at the University of Florida hospital. They have been giving him excellent care, really looking after him. But the past couple of weeks have been really rough. And the latest update that we have from Sissy is that they have placed him into hospice, and that it is not, things are not expected to turn for the better for Scott. So, sorry, Sorry.
I didn't want to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. So yeah, man, like if you guys have known Scott, the family is asking, please just remember him in the best way that you saw him. Remember him in the stands, with his horns up. Remember him at baseball, leading Texas fight. Remember him at tailgates with beer in hand. And it's been a rough month for Scotty. And again, it looks like he may not be coming home the way that we were hoping. So, raise a glass for Scotty, give him a thought, put your horns up for him, and really think about him. I mean, he's truly the greatest Longhorn fan we've ever seen.
Longhorn legend. And like you said, remember how inspiring he was, how much he loved the Longhorns. Yeah. And when you put your horns up this weekend,
do it for Scotty.
Put another horns up for Scotty, because if he would normally be right there in the stands with you.
Absolutely.
And he will always be at DCAR. We've seen the, different sports have honored him with, saving a seat for him. And I'm sure they will continue to do that for him. So
absolutely.
Thank you, Megan,
absolutely.
for sharing that. Yeah. All right. So yes, CB, your dad was in hospice. You know what that means. My dad was put in hospice. We know what that means. And that means they need extra love and extra good energy and positivity sent their way, right? Okay, moving on. Sorry.
I know, it's okay.
We have to take a moment and
had to give a moment to respect
and we
Scott.
really do meet people in this real world through, through Twitter, through the games, or fans and alumni association, all these, we really do meet people that are impactful in our lives. So we have to send love that way.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's do switch the gears a little bit. All right. Texas volleyball. Megan, when you drove to Mississippi State this weekend, on the way back, you're like, let's stop at the LSU Texas volleyball game.
Yeah.
We were able to walk right in because nobody goes to these games.
It was crazy. So look, so Texas actually volleyball played at Ole Miss on Friday, and we were thinking about popping up there. Oxford's about 2 hours away from Starkville. And we ended up getting in town a little bit later than we anticipated. So we didn't rush it. So we didn't make Ole Miss, but we're like, oh, wait a minute. I mean, Baton Rouge is kind of on the way home. Mm-hmm. We could make a little detour.
It's kind of on the way home.
Yeah. So our girl Francesca joined us, and it was crazy. We got these tickets, and we get there, and they're like, okay, just, it's seat anywhere. Choose your own seating. And I'm like, Texas could never. Like, it was wild. So yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I'm going to say this, man, I'm going to say this as kindly as I can.
Okay.
Being at the LSU volleyball game where Texas was playing made me really, truly appreciate how much the University of Texas puts behind promoting and supporting women's sport.
Nice.
Because it certainly, for this game, it certainly didn't feel reciprocated from the LSU side, right? And no, I mean, it really just puts things into perspective and gives you an appreciation of how much Texas, how many resources they put behind promoting women's sports and supporting them, and the social media aspects and just everything. So yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad we went.
Good.
It was a cool experience. We got to look for Mike the Tiger. His enclosure is right next to the volleyball court.
Did you see him?
We didn't. I think he was in for habitat maintenance, but it was
maybe
cool.
He was hiding in shame.
He was pretty bad.
He was hiding in shame. We'll get to it. But the Aggies went into Death Valley on a night game and ran the LSU fans out of their own stadium. So maybe Mike the Tiger was also lying in shame somewhere. All right. So the Texas volleyball team, 18-0 overall, 10-0 in SEC play. They have now 9 ranked wins, 9 top 25 wins through the season. This Sunday, they went into LSU, right? You were there.
Yep.
They swept them 3-0.
Yep.
They have a big game this Friday night. They go to the Aggies, and normally, the Aggies were the one team to beat them last year in the SEC play, right?
Yep.
They go to number 9 A&M, 6:30 p.m. SEC Network, Halloween night. I'm sure it is going to be live in College Station.
Yep.
For the Longhorns coming into town.
It'll be crazy.
How are you feeling about this? Is the undefeated streak? It's always a risk, especially when you're on the road, and they're so hard to stay undefeated. Do you feel the Longhorns have? I mean, they're on fire, but it's going to be a brawl.
I've said, it's going to be a brawl, and I think A&M definitely will have that home court rocking. I will say this though, man, I am so impressed with this volleyball team, and we've talked about it quite a bit, but in watching them on the road, I'm really glad we did that. It was a lot of fun being there in person, because especially to play.
Yeah, that's so cool. Anytime you can catch them. Right?
Yeah, especially to place. And I know this is going to sound shady. I don't mean it to, but especially at a place as quiet as LSU, because really, you could hear every single thing that the team was saying on the court. You could hear clearly, mine, ball, back, hit,
that's
mine.
Cool.
So it was really cool. You got more of an insight onto how this team is communicating. And if you guys follow the show, if you listen to us, that we talk about volleyball a lot. And that's one of the things that I've been saying is this team, as young as they are, Point Texas, baby. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But this team communicates in a way that we don't always see. They're communicating better than their age. They're just very mature, and they talk, and you can tell these girls are just on the same page with each other.
Love it.
These women are on the same page with each other. They understand where they're going to be. They talk, they take accountability. And that was just really on display. Again, no, this is not intended to be shade. It just is what it is. But it was quiet in that arena. The announcers were quiet. The band, LSU had a pep band there. They were pretty quiet. they didn't have like the game day atmosphere, or the music, or the stuff that Texas puts on.
Okay.
And so you can hear every single aspect. So it was really, really cool. It was very neat to be there. Very neat to experience that, and just confirms kind of like what we've seen the whole season of these women just having a really special team. So it's turning out to be an exciting season.
Going on the road again.
Going on the road to A&M. Look, I don't think this is going to be a sweep situation. A&M's a good volleyball team.
No.
But yeah, I'm excited to see how this plays out for sure.
Yeah, I hope they come back with a dub, because Sunday noon, at the Gregory, they take on Kentucky. That game's already sold out too. Everyone wants to see these women up close, so hopefully they come back still undefeated, and then they can defend that on Sunday at the Gregory gym. So if you have tickets, enjoy the game on Sunday. All right, so let's move into a team that also could have used some help in communication on defense. Missing Michael Taft was a big deal. But let's talk first. Let's dive into Texas. Went into Mississippi State. They were favored by 6.5 to 7. Girl, they covered. You know how long it's been since Texas has covered the spread? This was a crazy backdoor overtime wild cover, but they covered.
Okay, so officially, I don't want to hear this called an ugly game. If Texas covers, it's not an ugly game.
Texas went on the road and covered a touchdown.
Oh
yeah,
man.
The spread was 6.5, 7. Some people had 7.5, but let's say 6.5, 7.
For our purposes.
For our purposes, it was 6.5, and Texas went on the road and covered. All right, back to back on the road SEC wins. Let's talk about it. So you were at the game, stadium environment. Talk about the cowbells, the tailgating, everything. And we kind of talked about it earlier tonight. We were just chatting. But
yeah.
What was it like being at Mississippi State? How were the fans? How was the tailgating?
For sure. Look, so huge shout out to our guy Lounge Dog on Twitter, man. Anderson, you're freaking amazing. He's one of the Mississippi State fans that I've interacted with on Twitter just through baseball, right? And so he and one other I kind of reached out to before we went there, just asking for the lay of the land, like, because I've never been to Starkville. So I was looking forward, like, okay, we know.
You didn't go in 1970 something?
Before I was born, I did not.
I know.
I did not actually. So, so I like to set up my little tailgate, and you kind of got to figure out how different places do it.
And they're all different.
They're all different. And the process is all different. The timing's all different, right? So, man, he gave me some great advice. Said, look, get there by Friday at 4. Put out your stuff. Nobody will mess with it. And I'm a little skeptical of that because, you put burnt orange stuff out and people get a little weird. So, but he was great. He kind of reserved a little spot for us. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. Like, he had set me a map out and I'm looking for it. And then we get there. And I didn't realize, Rocky, like how close it was to the stadium. Literally, like, I don't know if I think I sent you the picture, but the stadium was no fewer than 20 feet away from us.
Oh my goodness.
Like, we were in the shadow of the stadium. It was wild. So, we got there, set our stuff up Friday night. Nobody messed with it, to his credit, like absolutely accurate. Friday night, we set it up. Saturday morning, we got it going and got everything. And let me tell you, man, again, I had never been to Starkville. It is hard to get to, y'all. It is kind of out in the sticks. It's kind of out there, but holy crap, their fans are awesome.
Good.
We had everybody was excited for us to be there. They were, hey, Texas, welcome to be here. Oh, I had the dogs. So everybody wanted to see the dogs and meet them. And they were coming in and just talking about traditions. There was no animosity or ugliness. It was like, hey, they're excited. They want to win. They've had, a rough few games.
Yeah.
They were looking to get back on their feet, but everybody was awesome. I never felt out of place. I never felt weird for being there. Everybody was like, hell yeah, Texas, let's party.
Good.
It was just that kind of attitude.
It should be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. I love traveling to different places and seeing how different people do it, but you wear that burnt orange and you get very different receptions from a lot of different places. So, it was awesome. I just, again, I want to shout out, we went to a scrimmage baseball game Friday night. We had the tailgate and then the football game on Saturday. And Mississippi State fans, y'all, I've traveled. I've done this home and away stuff for at least, probably 15 years now. I mean, going to every game home and away. And I will tell you, Mississippi State ranks amongst the top man, I'm going to say like top 3.
Wow.
Just for experiences as far like they are serious tailgaters. They got their stuff together. They throw a good party. The atmosphere is fun. The people are great. Like
wow.
They're there to support their team, not trash yours. Like it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
That's awesome.
Pretty campus too. Like pretty campus. So yeah, man, like again, shout out to Mississippi State. I will be rooting for y'all from here on out. Like when you're not playing Texas, and what a wild game. Let's talk. Like what a wild game.
So speaking of that, Mississippi State goes to Arkansas this week, and we'll talk about that later in our picks. But 2 winless in the SEC teams. Someone's about to get an SEC win. So we all want it to be Mississippi.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. So one of the biggest stories going into game day also ended up being a massive distraction, which with somebody putting out a story that even Sark had to speak about.
One person.
And the one person put out a story that he had to speak about and Sark had to speak about in post game. And it ended up being, that Sark was looking, letting NFL teams know he's interested in going. People were saying the Tennessee Titans. And I was kind of like, that's terrible. Also, yay, please. Anyway, that would be awful. But so he said, he had to put out a statement and that was a distraction. And some people were saying like, oh, is that why the Texas players were started strong, but then they were kind of all over the place for 2.5 quarters. So what the agency ended up having to release a statement that any reports regarding the communications of the coaching opportunities are patently false and wildly inaccurate. Sark is focused only on the UT football team. Anyone, if they want to, they can read in and out the lines of all that, right? Sark is absolutely focused. Meanwhile, the agents are, but you never know. Like people always say whatever, but
I will say this.
I trust if Sark says he's focused on the team, he's focused on the team.
Yeah, and I will say this. If you saw him post game, I don't know that I've ever seen Sark so fired up. Like he said before they got into anything, he was like, look, I've got to address this. And you could tell that man was fighting back the urge to drop every F-bomb and S-bomb and all kinds of swear words in this and just saying, look, I love this that he said it's patently false and the timing of it. And he said, I respect what the media does, but the fact that one person can release this bullshit information right before our game and the whole media runs with it. He said, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for you.
Yeah.
He said, so I like that he called them out in that way. Like, I do think Sark has the utmost respect for the media and their jobs and what they do, but like vet that shit. You know what I mean? And he was saying, he said, look, I have a small circle of people and they don't say anything without me knowing it. The small circle of people that knows what I'm doing will not say anything without me knowing it. And so I would say, like, look, right. We all know that I am solely focused on, we've all heard the coach speak before, but the fact that he came out so adamant in that game, I feel like you don't make those kind of comments if you're actually, you just ignore it, right? You let your agents handle it. You let them release the statement and then you just let it go away. You address it in your locker room, whatever. But for him to come out post game and be, I mean, he was fun.
Yeah, he was ready to. He was like, I'm glad you brought that up.
He was ready to throw fists. Like he was fired up
to defend that.
Yeah. Sure. So I, in my mind, at least the way that I'm reading this is like him being that worked up and that kind of like very definitive response, saying that it was embarrassing that they covered the story the way that they did because it was patently false. Like that gives me a little more confidence and comfort that like, and look, also. I don't know, man, is this the time? Like with this crazy coaching search going on, you can't convince me that Texas is a worse place to land than some of the NFL jobs opening up, than some of the college. Like Sark isn't leaving Texas for another college job, period. Hands down, zero question.
Yeah.
Maybe the NFL because it's the NFL, but also like.
He would take a pay cut.
Exactly. You're making
a
more
drastic pay cut.
A massive pay cut by like a third, right?
Yeah,
like
they pay in the NFL.
You'd be making a third of what you're. That's what I'm saying. Like I just don't.
But then it could also be more than money, right?
Yeah,
it could be the prestige of the NFL, and
that's
maybe
true.
After he wins a championship, at Texas,
maybe
he wants to try to go win a Super Bowl in the NFL. You never know.
I would.
And he's still fairly young.
Look, I would say if Texas at this stage had won the SEC and or won a national championship, we may be having a different conversation. But I just really don't see Sark being the guy that's like going to bail on Texas making, and this is the important part, making the money that he's making
right
before he wins a natty here to go to the NFL. Like I really feel
and
that
also
way.
Sark is very particular about what cities he lives in, right? Him and his wife, like they're not going to move to a podunk town, right? They like city life, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the vibe of the team. We know when we were at Columbus and Ohio State, we noticed, you and I noticed from before the game kicked off, that the team, we were hoping it was just a cool, calm confidence, but it ended up kind of being the opposite of hyped for the game, right? I don't know how you put that, but they just we
kind of flat.
Yeah, flat.
Kind of been flat.
Right? We maybe we were like, okay, well, hopefully they're just cool and everything's cool, but ended up just being really flat performance, right? And you said you saw that again in Florida, at the game. And what was the vibe of, like, just looking down at the sideline? How were you feeling about what the team was looking like before the game? Because they started off hot. They started off hot.
Better than Columbus, better than Florida, but not the most hype I've seen them. So I think honestly, look, and this is complete, like,
and hype does not equal, performance.
No, they were focused,
but it's an element of of the vibe.
Sure. And they were, and I will tell you, like, once Texas really started rolling towards the end, like we looked good in the beginning and then we flatlined and got behind, but you could see the spark. So like the energy was there to get the team hyped back up on the sidelines. Like it was there much more than I would say Florida, much more than I would say Ohio State. So I will say that. And the other part of this too, like, I don't know, it's, again, this is completely me reading into this. This is my take on it. I'm not speaking for the team or from anybody on the team, but you got to imagine that at the end of this long ass stint away from home, like it's a grind, man. It's a grind. It is tiring. You don't have your people. You don't have your facilities. You're not sleeping in your own bed.
They're not seeing a lot of their families.
Yeah. Like I can appreciate that at the end of this stint, we were going to see some fatigue, just in energy,
they're
just
human.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, hell, I was fatigued. I'm fatigued, right? And I'm just sitting my ass in the stands, right? So I get it. I really do think that this long stint, and I hope to God we don't schedule like this again.
Well, the thing is, like with ACL 2 weekends in a row and CODA, it's the thing, like,
it makes sense to be away.
That's why, but that makes sense for Austin to be away 3 weekends out of that time, not 6 straight weekends.
6 is a lot.
That didn't make sense.
Yeah, and there was a bye weekend factored into that. I get that, but
and the away weekend at OU is right during ACL and all that. So, but there's no need for it to be 6 weekends away.
It was a lot. So I do think in a way that kind of factored in. And it took Texas a second to go like, oh fuck, let's shake this off. Let's play some ball, right? But they did. And I will say this, Rocky, like watching in person, and I'm going to give another shout out here. I feel like this has been a very shout outy episode.
Nice.
There have been plenty of times, like I'm pretty loud. You can still hear my voice is a little bit gone. I'm pretty loud. I'm pretty enthusiastic when I support the horns. That doesn't always go over well with maybe some of the blue hairs that travel or some of the older fans, but this time, Stevie and I were together. Stevie's probably louder than I am. Like
she's good.
She's a lot, right? Like, so in the best of ways.
Yeah.
So we're out there and like the team is down, but we might be the only two that are still kind of screaming. We're right behind the band. So we're screaming, we're loud, we're hyping them up. And after the game, this is a really rare occurrence. So I'm proud of it as a Texas fan. We had some older folks come up to us and like, hey, you two girls, y'all are the ones that willed this team. Like,
what?
You were loud, you were proud, and they heard you. And that got us hyped up. That got us going.
Never quit. Yeah.
And that was cool to hear. Because a lot of times from our fans, you get that like, can you please sit down? Why are you standing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm at a game. I'm at the game to cheer for my team. That's why I'm standing.
I left my home this morning.
Yeah, so it was cool to see the Texas fans like into it. It was cool to get that kind of like, hey, be loud and proud. Let's do this. And yeah, man, I mean, it was a fun atmosphere. A lot of people don't like the cowbells. I think they're awesome.
I think they're awesome.
I think they're awesome.
I can understand how they would.
Yeah, they're loud.
Yeah, it would, after 3 hours of it. Yeah,
sure.
That would.
But again, another thing I appreciated, like at our tailgate, we had a Mississippi State fan come up to us before the game with a literal like Ziploc bag full of the earplugs.
Mhm.
It was like, hey, before you go in, you'll probably want these. We're like, hey man, thanks.
That's nice.
That was cool. Like that they're considerate to hand that out. They're not going to change their stuff, but like,
oh no.
hey, we're worried about your eardrums. Here you go.
I used to. Side note: I used to do that in my classes when I would teach the fitness classes because you got to turn the music up. Like I don't care what class I'm teaching,
you got to feel it.
You need the music.
Yeah.
So I can understand you need the cowbells, and so I would just every now and then you have somebody come in like the music's too loud. Okay, there's earplugs over there.
Yeah, exactly.
The music's gonna be loud.
Yeah,
right?
I love it. I love it.
All right, so 10 keys. Let's talk about this. So we kind of wanted to just have some quick bullet points of the game from last Saturday to make sure we touch on enough things. CB, you had mentioned you didn't think the team could come back. They had a 1.4% chance of coming back in this game. And we kind of mentioned earlier, 429 times. The last 429 times, an college football team was down 17 points with 10 minutes left. They lost.
Yeah.
This is the first time in 430 games that the team has come back to win. So most people didn't think they could come back. It was confusing. It was frustrating. It was tough. You just didn't know what to expect. We knew Mississippi State was going to put up points. I actually picked us to lose that game last week because I didn't know how we were going to keep up with their points.
Sure.
No one said it was going to be one of those shootouts into overtime.
Who would have thunk that? Look, I feel like this game was very much like puberty, right? Like it's scary.
What?
And exciting, but also super frustrating.
and
you don't know what to predict, and it's confusing.
And there's cowbells.
And there's cowbells. And you don't know what's going on half the time, but you're like, well, F it, we made it out on the other end, right? Like,
okay, so
we grew up a little in that game.
We grew up. Arch absolutely grew up. So first we're going to share Nash. He's our buddy Nash. He's been on the show. Everybody knows Nash Talks Texas. This was a great meme he posted, and it's the one where the guy's bent over, call the ambulance, and he pulls up, but not for me. This game, I love this meme so much, and this was a great time to use it for Texas at Mississippi State. Texas was down, they were down, but they were not out, right? And finally, when we needed the receivers to come together, we needed the passing game to come together. We needed just enough run game. We needed the defense who had gotten smoked. We'll talk about how they gave up almost 400 yards passing to Chapin from Baylor, right? They gave up almost 400 yards passing, but when it mattered most, when the offense and the defense and special teams, we'll talk about Niblett, when all that came together and they played a quarter and a little over a quarter of complimentary football. Wow. Look, that little nugget of moment could win a national championship.
See, in that
problem is they don't have 60 minutes.
Yeah, look, that's exactly it, right? Like the crazy thing to me, and look, if I'm going to find that burnt orange lining, right? That little burnt orange ray of hope, it's this. We know that Texas has not played its most complete football or its best football this year. We know that this is a young team. They're still figuring it out. They're still going everything around. But what I will say is the fact that Texas has played not great football for every quarter that they've been playing and still is winning games tells me a lot about this team. Like, it's, to me, this is just that just maturity has to be there. They've got to get the snaps where they play together. They've got to figure out their style, but the talent is there.
Oh, it's still there. The roster that the country thought was the number one country going into this number one roster going into the season, that's still there.
Their
some parts have underperformed.
Sure, they're talented. I think the development is lagging behind a little bit in some areas. We've talked about that, namely O-line, right? Like we've had that discussion. But the talent is there, and the fact that Texas can kind of sleepwalk through 3/4 of a football game
on the road
in the SEC and still win, like that to me, look, it's not ideal.
No,
it's not the way you want to win.
No, it's not the way you can live.
It's not a way that we can, or that my blood pressure can handle very well.
No.
But if we're going to take that little nugget of good and see the hope for the future, it's that we can get away with sleepwalking through 3/4 and still win games. So fix that shit. stop.
Don't do it.
Be better for more than one quarter.
Yeah.
But the good news is that talent is there. The execution can be there. The understanding of this game, the play calling is there. Like, we've got all the pieces. It's just, can we put those pieces together consistently enough throughout a full 60 minutes of football to pull off really good games?
All right. Exactly. All right. So 10 notes, but nuggets about this game. Number one, the team never quit, right?
Yeah.
We talked about that. They had a 1.4% chance to win this game at the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter. And then they got down by 7. They were down by 17. And then that little flip shovel pass thing that just right between the defenders, and he's gone, right? Then they're down by 17 again. And then they just find a way. The defense steps up. They make the stops. They force 3 and outs. And the offense rewards them with points. And then the defense rewards them. And then the special team rewards them. It all started to come together. The team never quit. That's really important. All right, number 2, we talked about this is with Rod Babers this week has been calling it the crisis team, right? The team that responds in crisis. And like you just mentioned, they cannot wait till they're in crisis to get it all together. But they did.
I'm calling them the heart attack horns this year. They are the heart attack horns.
The cardiac kids.
The cardiac kids. It's the heart attack horns, man. Like, when this team has their backs against the wall and they figure it out, they're like, oh shit, now we're going to play some ball. Like, this is one of the best teams in the country.
They can be.
But good Lord, like, do we need to elevate our blood pressure this much to get it to this point to figure out that we can be one of the best teams in the country?
You know, find a way. Like Sark has been saying, win anyway, right? Levy, Coach Levy, Mississippi State said his guys are disappointed, frustrated, and shocked it really happened.
I love that.
So tell us in the crowd, the faces, the shock. You said their spirits were leaving their body.
Straight up. Look, let me tell you, all right, so no lie, like, the Texas crowd was pretty dejected. You know, we're down by 17. Yeah. Things are looking pretty bad in the fourth quarter. It's pretty quiet. The band is still doing their thing. Like, God bless them. They're still rocking out. Stevie and I are still screaming our heads off, but man, it was tough. Things weren't looking great. And then you get a little play, and then you break a little, you get a little catch, you get a little, and all of a sudden the horns are back in this thing. And I'll tell y'all, when Niblett had that return, all of the sudden there was this sense.
That tied it up, 38.
Yeah. So, like, Texas had started to come back, and with the touchdown, you could kind of hear the Mississippi State crowd go like, "Oh, that's not great, but we're fine."
They still had time.
And the Texas crowd was like, "Oh shit, we're waking up a little bit here."
Mm-hmm.
And then Nibs comes back and has the run back. And I'll tell y'all, for real, like, at this point, it was just crazy. Like, you could hear the wind just be sucked out of the stadium. It just came out of that Mississippi State side. And then with the Mosley touchdown in overtime, like, I am relatively certain I saw at least 40,000 souls leave people's bodies collectively at once and just exit that stadium. Mississippi State fans, just like, it's got to be tough to be a Mississippi State fan. The way that they've lost the past few games, this season in general, literally, I saw people just lose their will to live in that particular game. Look, I'm glad Texas won. I hope that their fans recover. I can appreciate the frustration with Levy. And again, let's talk about it a little bit. Like, Mississippi State had us on the ropes, and then they decided to change everything up.
Yeah.
And, like,
they should have did everything they could to run the clock out at the end, and they still decided they should go 3 and out in 12 seconds.
Yeah. Look, and tempo had been working. And look, if I'm playing Texas, if I'm Vandy, I'm going tempo. One of Texas's highlights, one of the things that we do really well, is having the depth on defense and being able to sub out. But if the other team is going tempo, we can't do that. And we tire out quick. And that was showing. I'm telling you, Texas.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's not Vandy style, but that was Mississippi State style.
And it was working.
Yeah.
So I get the need to stay with tempo, but he didn't understand, like, let the clock
run. You better get a first down.
Yeah, and you got to let that clock run out. So you do have to make some adjustments in those moments, and Levy did not do that.
All right, let's hear from Sark. This was immediately on the sideline post-game.
Well, that was the one thing I asked for yesterday in the team meeting. I said, guys, this is going to take 60 minutes. We got to be the tougher football team mentally and physically, and it's got to be all Texas fight tonight. And that's what it was. We didn't play great football tonight, but we surely fought. We played as a team. It's back-to-back weeks. Our culture showed up.
Feels like back-to-back weeks for Ryan Niblett coming up with a huge play. What did he do for you in that moment?
Well, he's a phenomenal player. He's courageous. He's confident, and so's that whole unit. And they block extremely well for him. So great by him. It's been a month on the road. Can't wait to get back to Austin, get back to DKR next Saturday.
All right. Can't wait back. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Samesies.
All right. Number 3 on our list was they sure did miss Michael Taft. We talked about apparently in the week before at Kentucky, he actually broke his thumb in the, he actually broke his thumb in the fourth quarter of that game. And he ended up playing through fourth quarter and overtime with that broken thumb. He went to have surgery. He is the announced this week as a Thorpe Award semi-finalist. So he is, of course, very impactful, not just his own personal stats, but his leadership, right? He's vocal. He directs. He's the quarterback of the DBs in the back. There's still young guys that are rotating and learning the system. He calls what he sees. He moves people. He directs them. He was so vocal that they even had to tell him to stop talking and can't let someone else practice talking, right? But he's such a leader. So missing him was going to be impactful. We did not think it was actually going to be. DBs gave up 382 yards passing.
And again, yes, we missed Taft. Like, no question. What I will say, what it looked like to me, yes, you missed that vocal leadership. Yes, you missed Taft kind of directing. But again, I've got to credit Mississippi State here. They kept things running where Texas couldn't trade guys out as frequently as we normally do. Texas looked gassed early and often. And it didn't help that after that first drive, like our offense couldn't get anything going. So it was a bunch of 3 and outs. So the defense is out there way too much. I could be wrong on this, y'all. CB, correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel like in that first quarter, like the defense was out there for 9 possessions or something. I mean, it was crazy. Maybe that was first half, but it was a lot. And so the defense being out there, they were gassed, Rocky. And you could tell it. They lost their legs. They were struggling to keep up. And that's where Mississippi State did well, because when they knew that we were tired and we weren't subbing out the way we needed to, they were attacking. And guys like Muhammad were getting beat. Manny was getting beat. All right, Gilbo was getting beat. And that to me was both a combination of missing Taft, but also being exhausted.
But I think some of that came too of just not making the adjustments at the line to where they're having a turn and chase. And those adjustments at the line that Michael Taft helps a lot with were just missing. So they were having to turn and chase. Like it's a cycle. Like it's which one came first, right? The chicken or the egg. Are they exhausted because they're out there long? Or are they out there long because they're turning and chasing because they weren't always making the right? It's all of it together, right? Like it was a combination of all that. Every team would absolutely miss, just like it showed when they missed Muhammad at Florida. They took advantage of Muhammad being on. Absolutely, Taft. He leads the team in tackles. Like he's missing him. His production and his leadership showed. They showed him on TV on the sideline. Whatever's happening under his arm was covered in a Gatorade towel because people don't know what anyone.
They don't want the speculation.
No one needs to even guess what's happening with his hand underneath. Word is he's practicing this week, so he's practiced the last couple of days. So whether they have to club him up or whatever they have to do, he does not want to miss this game. And so I just hope when he comes back, he's ready to go. All right, number 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4. We've been asking for a breakout game from the wide receivers. Help the running game. Help Arch out. We got one. We got Wingo, 5 catches, 184 yards. Mosley, 4 catches, 53 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think Moore has 6 catches, 53 yards, but more of those critical third downs.
He
He
was critical.
was critical. He went up and made some NFL level catches. Livingston, 4 for 22, but 2 TDs. So they were using Mosley and Livingston in those red zone areas. And then we have to mention last week when we talked about the offense struggled, defense had to, save the game. And when they talked to Colin Simmons about that, he said, oh, no. They talked to him about, it's the defense and special teams leading this team, right? Colin Simmons said, and say offense, it's offense, defense, and special teams, and how that came so quickly back to them that this week defense struggled for much of the game. Offense had to light it up and get them back.
Did.
And they did.
Yeah.
So it was actually ended up being a complete game. And we've needed to see this from the receivers. So proud of Ryan Wingo for sticking with the process. And there was even a couple more catches that, went right through his hands. It could have been even a touchdown or two.
So looking at these stats, again, you talk Wingo, 5 for 84.
184.
Or excuse me, 5 for 184. He was clutch when he needed to be. But let me tell you this, like, Rocky, just like you said, there were moments that he still has room for improvement, right? He still has the opportunity. There were a few that hit him in the hands. There's a few that, he could have gotten, like those 50-50 balls. I'd still like to see a little bit more aggressiveness from him. But man, was he on fire? Did he have a great game? And again, if I'm looking at that burnt orange lining here, that burnt orange ray of sunshine, the coolest thing about Wingo's performance here was not only did he step up, not only did he come out and really show up when the offense needed him, there's still more in his tank. There's still more for him to give. We still haven't seen his best game. So holy shit, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, Wingo did have a couple of drops that were, one was a sure touchdown on a cross in the middle. He dropped that. But it's hard to nitpick that when he absolutely, for the first play of the game, was ready to go, and they found ways to use him. They found ways even to get Niblett involved later in the game. So I like that that the receivers are what we thought they could be since the beginning of the season. It's
starting to show those flashes.
Yes, and it's coming together, and the offensive line is getting him time to do this. And with this system, they're going to have to rely on the receivers to get those yards after the catch.
Yeah, and again, shout out to this was a complete game. The fact that Manning moved that ball around, got it to multiple different receivers, just using all the weapons available. Mosley being back in was a big deal. That was awesome. Having him there, again, super physical dude. Like, I think Mosley is emerging as a guy that is going to be the go-to receiver, right? We saw Texas use him on those goal line moments, in those clutch exact moments. I thought that was really cool to see. But yeah, it's really nice. Having more back is great. Again, seeing this unit come together healthy, and come together and functioning as a unit, unselfish ball. Let's spread it around. Let's make sure that everybody gets an opportunity, because how the hell do you defend that? How the hell do you put, like, you can put 2 on Wingo and oh no, all of a sudden you've got, injuries. You've got Moore, you've got Livingston there. So I love seeing
just
that.
like Mississippi State, they had 5 different receivers with over 60 yards. How do you defend that? Texas struggled to defend that. All right, number 5. Niblett with another huge punt return. Why did they punt to him? I know they can't always direct exactly where, but I'm sure that was not what they were trying to do.
I don't think that was intentional.
At OU, game changer, sealed the game, really helped put the game away for Texas. Kentucky, 2 huge punt returns that got them into the red zone. I don't know how Texas was ever going to get the ball down the field the way the offense was working that night. If it wasn't for those big punt returns by Niblett, they might not have gotten into any points on the board. And then Mississippi State, with a couple minutes left, he brings it all the way back to tie the game when they were down, like we said a million times, down 17 points. Those punt returns, he's arguing to be an All-American, one of the best punt returners in the country, and he's making history at Texas with his punt returns.
Absolutely.
All right, number Niblett for Heisman. Why not? Got Niblett. Everybody loves. They call it Nibs on the team.
I've been saying Nibs. I don't know if that's a team thing or not, but like
the team has been calling him.
All right, well, I'm not an asshole then.
So if I don't know if you go to the Longhorn Network app or to the website Longhorn Network, they post the press conferences, media availabilities, and Tuesday a lot of the players, Ethan Burke. Kiro Canoe, Baxter, Wisner, there's a bunch of them that spoke. Go watch that. It's about 50 minutes, and it's so fascinating. But a lot of them are so proud and appreciate what Ryan Niblett has done and the work he puts in. And yeah, they call him noobs. All right, next. The defensive line / edges brought the pressure we've been waiting to see. We heard all off season, the edges are gonna bring the pressure. We have these coaches that are all teaching pressure, and it took a while to get to it, and it even took a while in this game to get to it. But when they finally just said, "Pin your ears back and go, Anthony Hill. Pin your ears back and go, Colin Simmons. Go, Ethan Burke." Boom! They had Shapen in circles.
Yeah.
What did you see from at the game?
Yeah, no, it was impressive. Again, I love that in these past few games, like, welcome back, Colin Simmons. Hello, Ant Hill. Like, these guys have been on absolute fire, and I love seeing, Ant Hill was a man that would not be denied in this game. He was absolutely going like crazy, and you're right. I think Shapen had a good game, but when it really mattered, when it really came down to it, Ant Hill was making that man see ghosts. He was hearing those footsteps. He made it. I don't know how much Advil that Shapen had to take after that game, but it couldn't have been a small amount. The way that Ant Hill was on him. So again, that D-line, the edges really crashing in. I would like to see more of that from Texas. I'd like to see more of that pressure. That has been a thing where Texas needs to be better about getting that pressure, getting to the quarterback. And I think we started to see that towards the end of the game. And it really, like, truly, especially in overtime, that really changed how this game went. They were crashing through. Their offensive line couldn't stop anything Texas was throwing at them. And it was just, we had a couple penalties. And don't be fooled. Like, the pressure that Texas was putting was causing those penalties.
Oh yeah, they were false starting, terrified
in their own place. Like, shit, you got ahead of them.
They were more than 20 or whatever.
Well, and then then the fumble, like it. Yeah. So that was all the mindset, right? That was all the D-line breaking through the edges, coming in hard and hot. Simmons, man, I love seeing what those first few games. We were a little worried. We didn't see him put up the numbers we thought, but he started picking up. And now he's the Colin Simmons that we all know him to be. Yeah. And Ant Hill. Woo!
Yeah, we'll give him some love in just a second. We'll get to them in a second. All right. So another point we wanted to make. AJ Milwee, QB coach, assistant with the offensive system. He was actually back up in the booth this week. They were talking about how they had brought him down previously because he was working more with Quinn, hands-on down the sideline. Now he's back in the booth to be more eyes for Coach Sark. And, they were talking about, Sark said, we're going to be changing things up soon on the offense. And it started hot right away. There was a lull, and then they got on fire. And AJ Milwee said, that they've been just trying to get better information and watch and help Sark see what he's seeing from up there. They know the system together, right, inside and out. They know the quarterbacks together inside and out. So, what an advantage! Do you think they're going to keep that going now?
I do. Look, I think this is the thing. We had heard a lot of people clamoring before, saying, "Hey, Sark, maybe it's time to start thinking about giving up your offensive play calling role as the head coach." And look, I think there is still some merit to that. You, as a head coach, you've got to be that CEO. You have so many other things to contend with that if your main focus is on calling games, that gets a little tricky. But I really like this response. I really like this as the answer. As he said, Sark said that, look, Millie and I have been together for so long. We know what each other's thinking. With Quinn's style of play, it made more sense to have Millie down on the sidelines. But with Arch's style of play, it helps to have Millie up. That way he can relay down. Sark and Millie can communicate in a way that, and I love this because you're adapting to your players' needs. You're adapting your coaching style and what you do to what your players are doing out there. So rather than trying to force a guy into your system, you're tweaking your system ever so slightly to work with your guys. So I like it. I think we're going to see it more. I think it works. More of this, please.
Yeah, I wonder if Milwee had the influence of, we just got to throw, because when they first, anytime a team's down by 3 possessions, you got to just start throwing, right? Yeah. But even more so, it's because Texas had 32 rushing attempts in this game for 72 yards.
Nada. Yeah.
That's just not going to win games the rest of the season. we talked about Baxter being back. You know, when Weisner got back, a little rusty, and then shook off the rust and performed better. Baxter, and we know he's like kind of on a pitch count, like how many reps he's going to get.
Sure.
Shake off that rust. He even admitted he's going to, shake off the rust and come back even stronger. He's excited to be playing with Weisner again. Let's listen to Baxter because he actually talked about that this week. We won't play the whole thing, just a little clip of it.
You know, I asked Trey about you last week, and he mentioned he was just so excited to see y'all compliment each other at one point as you walked into the room. Are you just ready to kind of have a couple games in these y'all's belts together?
We literally, me and him just got done having a conversation about that. It's been unfortunate the way things have unfolded. We both played Ohio State game, had a great game that game, and then he went down, and then I went down. So we haven't really had a full game together again. Even like last week, I was still, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, the time will come. I think it's coming at the perfect time. So yeah, we'll make it happen for sure.
When you hear CJ say,
Okay, can I just
shout out Corey Mose for
Absolutely.
for that great question.
And can I just say, like, maybe this is a woman thing to pick up on, but I love these interviews and questions like that. Again, thank you, Corey, for asking questions like that, because you can see the love that these guys have for each other. Just like we talked about that Colin Simmons question earlier, like he was defending his people, like he was defending his team, defending his brothers when they said, oh, well, this is, the defense is carrying the team. No. So it's offense and defense. We're all together, and special teams. That's what he meant, right? And then you see Baxter come on here and talking about, he just lit up. He said, that's my guy. Like we were just talking about this. We get to play together. Like it's those little things that I think, you talk about how difficult it is to build a national championship winning team. You talk about how all these little things, yes, it takes the right coaching. Yes, it takes the right talent. Yes, it takes the right quarterback and the right timing and all these little things. But man, if you don't have that special sauce where this team is like doing this for each other, it becomes that much harder to win. So I love seeing stuff like that. I think that's really special.
Love it. And hopefully it is the right time that they're back together again. We need them this weekend to help with the run game, and we'll talk about that later in our keys to the game. All right, a couple more quick thoughts. Defensive players of the game, we had to give love to Ethan Burke.
Hell yeah.
Westlake is the best Lake. I do have to say, Westlake is not the best Lake this week. They got their asses kicked by Lake Travis. We went to the game. It was ugly. Congrats, Lake Travis. You dominated.
Did you have your annual bet was censored?
Yes. Yes. The winner donates to the food bank, and we'll both donate, but yeah. Anyway, so Ethan Burke, 7 tackles, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a blocked field goal. Congrats, Ethan Burke. Just so proud of you. Healthy and performing well. You gave love to Anthony Hill. And then you want to give extra love to
Alex January, man. Like, look, I think he is one of the unsung heroes on this Texas defense. This kid played his heart out, and you might not hear his name as much, but he was an absolute disruptor in this game. He got in there. We were talking about D-line earlier. He got in there. He was in their face. He had some tackles. Again, 5 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 1.5 tackles for loss. And he recovered that fumble in overtime to keep Texas's record streak alive of a positive turnover in all the games. So, yeah, man, shout out to Alex January for just really, look, we talk about Colin Simmons, we talk about Ant Hill, we talk about, Mookie and the guys in the secondary, but January had himself a nice game. I want Texas fans to pay attention to him for sure.
All right. One more. Number 9. Players got some record number of snaps. Thanks to CJ Vogel for posting this. But in this game, this is crazy because you never want to have snaps in the 80s.
Crazy.
But Malik Muhammad, 88 snaps he played in this game. And this isn't just a game where he hung back and watched the D-line stop the run. No, they threw for 385 yards in this game. He was chasing, he was tackling, he was out and about in this game. Arch Manning, 81, Gilbo, 79. They did pick on Gilbo and Grayson Littleton a lot, but they were out there a lot in the 70s.
But that's exactly the point, right? Like we were talking about this earlier, how Texas 88 snaps, 79 snaps, 72 snaps. That's an insane amount of time to be on the field for a defense. And Texas did lose their legs. They did get tired. They did shows some fatigue. But you look at these numbers, you look at the amount of time these guys were out there. It's hard to look at it and go, well, how could you not be tired with that, right?
They still had enough energy to get the stops in the fourth quarter and overtime. Xavier Philsamy, we talked about, he was going to get extra snaps with Michael Taft being out, and even Lance Jackson, 25 snaps on the road, true freshman, and he was involved late too when they needed him the most. So congrats to these guys for, man, I hope the good thing is now that they're home, hopefully the home field DKR gives them some fresh feet and fresh vibes and fresh energy.
Yeah.
Because they had overtime at Kentucky in a physical game where they were on the field 40 minutes of the 60 minutes.
Yeah.
They were defending 500 some yards of offense this past weekend and went to overtime again. You talked about the travel, all of it adds up. So hopefully being fresh, they can get some energy from the crowd this weekend at DKR because they will be home at DKR this weekend. So that's great. And then, so good luck to those guys this weekend. We'll talk about that game in just a second. And last thing we have to talk about is number 10, which is number 1, and number 16, Arch Manning. Arch Manning, a tough motherfucker. Arch Manning is tough. I don't care if y'all laugh at whatever stat. I don't care if you laugh at when he threw something in the dirt. I don't care, whatever. He made some crazy NFL level throws this weekend, but that dude is fucking tough.
Look, that's my quarterback, man. That's my, what it always is. That's my quarterback. Like, look, the amount of hate and criticism and critique that Arch Manning has got. Look, you are the quarterback of the University of Texas. It's going to come with heat. It's going to come with attention. It's going to come with a lot. But the fact that his last name is Manning, the fact that the media has put crazy expectations on this man's shoulders, let me tell you, I'm so tired of this narrative that, oh, Manning is underperformed. Manning is, first of all,
it's under pressure like 90% of the time.
you put him behind the O-line that Quinn had last year. We have a different season.
We saw him behind that O-line. He was amazing.
We have a different season.
Yeah.
So this O-line is getting their sea legs under them. They're figuring it out. They're young.
Yep.
They're figuring out what it is. You got to give them some time. This is the first year with this being Arch's whole team. You got to give him some time. And also, fuck you if you don't understand. Look at these numbers. Look at what the man is doing. Look, it's not the prettiest. It's not Texas going in and winning by 50 burgers. I get that, but that's not how this team is built. That's not where we are in this cycle for this team. Looking at the numbers that he's putting up,
he's one of the top in the country in touchdowns.
Thank you.
And they act like he only throws interceptions.
Thank you. 29 of 46, 346 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception.
And that was a tipped pass off
Exactly. Like, I am so tired of this narrative, and I'm getting in defensive mama mode because, like, I'm so tired of people who are only looking at clips that you see online or only looking at little things. Like, man, you got to look at the whole picture. You got to look at what this dude is working with, and you got to look at how he is developing week to week to week to week to week. You cannot tell me that you haven't seen an improvement from Ohio State Arch to Mississippi State Arch.
Oh,
it's
huge.
Night and day different. And the fact that he is making these leaps and bounds each week and you're watching him regress each week. I don't want to hear the noise. I don't want to hear the bullshit from people. Like, this kid is exactly who we thought he was. It's just the pieces around him that are going to have to get a little better. And we've also got to tamper our expectations just based on realistic football reality, right? Like, you're not going to put a guy that has never led a team in before at the head of a team like the Texas Longhorns and expect a natty the first year. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Look at the positives. Look at what he's doing. And I am so impressed with him. He's been put on his butt quite a bit. He's working behind an O-line that's figuring things out. He's been banged up. He's been bleeding. You cannot tell me that kid has not left everything that he has out on that field for this team.
He's a leader.
No. I'm glad he's my quarterback. That's my quarterback,
he's
man.
Freaking top.
That's my
Period.
quarterback.
He's the Manning star of the week.
No nepotism here.
No nepotism. He absolutely earned that for that comeback, record-breaking comeback. Yeah, so we had one question before we wrap up. We'll wrap up Mississippi State talk, give love to Rock and Diamond S Ranch, and then we'll get into Vanderbilt coming to Austin. This is from Matt. Have you seen the guy, Barstool, who was there? Huge fan. Videotaped the game. Was like his soul leaving the body. So, yes, that it was everywhere, right? His name was, I guess, Brandon Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know who he is. I don't follow the Barstool people. I'm not their audience. I'll just leave it at that. I don't crush beer cans on my head while vomiting on my friend. I'm not their audience. But they are huge, and turns out he has like 500,000 followers on. Very popular. A lot of people like him. I didn't know who he was, but he's apparently a mega Mississippi State fan.
Yeah. And
he had a whole film crew follow him because this was going to be their moment, right? Which made it even more epic that they followed him from the suites. And good, he was living his best life, loving his team, supporting, running down, thinking it was the moment. It just happened to turn funny to us when like Mosley's catch was like right in front of him. Go watch Josh Pate's recap of this game. His little
that's why you never put the horns down.
Oh man, he put the horns down. Go watch Josh Pate's 10-minute recap of the game. He gives a couple minutes to Brandon Walker.
Yep. Matt, I will say this about Brandon Walker. I love fans. I love people that are enthusiastic.
Live your best life.
I'm a 43-year-old woman that wears a cape to football games. Like, I get it. Do your thing. Be excited. Love the way you can. What strikes me is disingenuous from Brandon Walker is when he goes down there and he brings his film crew with him. And if you go back and you watch his recap of everything, there's a part where he's on the sideline and his film crew is watching him. And it wasn't until he looked at the camera and remembered that the film crew was there that he goes, oh, right, I'm supposed to be very sad. Performative face to the hand. Like,
I think he was pretty sad.
I mean, I'm sure, but like it just felt performative to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, I get it. He's frustrated. I'm not going to apologize for snatching your soul, my guy. Like, don't put the horns down if you don't want karma. Like, what is it? A few minutes later.
Yeah, a few minutes later. Yeah. I mean, he seems like a really diehard Mississippi State fan.
And good for him for using his platform to elevate his team.
Yeah, exactly. And, but what you never do when your team is on heater and it's hot and things are happening, don't change seats. Don't go change your jersey.
That's exactly it. That's the lesson here. Stay in your seat.
He shouldn't have changed
the juju.
He should have stayed in there are people blaming him for leaving his booth and coming down the sideline.
That's fair.
If he had started in the sideline, he shouldn't have left.
That's fair.
If he had started there, he shouldn't have left.
Yep, that's
he
fair.
Moved and that changed everything.
I respect that too.
You can blame the loss on him, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Megan, let's give some love to our friend Chuck and Rock and Diamond S Ranch.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. If you were looking for a beautiful hill country getaway, look no farther than the Rockin' Diamond S Ranch. This is an amazing Texas experience out in the beautiful hill country of Texas, rolling hills, gorgeous land. It is nestled on 120 acres just near Johnson City. And so it's a quick drive from Austin or to San Antonio. The property sleeps 14 with one primary home and 2 fully furnished cabins. And there is so much to do out there, y'all. You can go swimming, check everything out. You can cook outside. It's got a great outdoor party area. You can also go wildlife watching, fishing. You play with the Longhorns, or you can go just a short 5 minutes to Blanco with breweries, eateries, shopping, and more. So there's so much going on in Texas, so much going on in the hill country. If you just need that getaway, look no farther, again, than the Rockin' Diamond S Ranch. Give our good friend Chuck Smith a call at 512-694-1969 or go to rockindiamondsranch.com and book up there. Tell them Rocky and Megan sent you.
There you go. You can screen capture now. The contact info is there. All right, Megan, let's talk about it. Sark, let's start with Sark inviting everyone to come to DKR on Saturday.
Talk some Vandy.
It's awesome to be back at DKR. Can't wait for Longhorn Nation. I know our team is re-energized to be back at home. I'm sure our fans, our students are going to be re-energized. We're going to need you at 11 a.m. and we're going to need to make this environment what it needs to be.
All right, sold out. Vanderbilt, number 9 in the country, coming to number 20, Texas. It's funny how we won. We were at 20, we won, and we dropped to 22, and then we won ugly, and then we moved back up to it. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Just win anyway.
Texas controls their own destiny right now, and that's what matters. Sold out game back at DKR. It is, like we said, it's been 42 days, 6 weeks since Texas was in DKR.
I need the old lady from the Titanic. Instead of 84 years, it's been 42 days.
Yes. So this weekend, back with Bevo, the Smokies Midway and all the things. They have Bevo's Boulevard.
Oh, they're going to the Boulevard.
Yes, the Boulevard for Halloween, right? So they're doing all the different things on Bevo Boulevard will be Halloween themed, right? So that'll be fun. The biggest news, of course, today that we have to talk about when we dive into this game is going to be the injury report, right? So that was come out Wednesday. So whenever we do our show Wednesday night, we're lucky we get to see the injury reports. And let me see if I can make this a little bigger. There we go. So let's start with, of course, Texas. The biggest thing is Arch Manning. He took that hit in overtime, back to the head, sliding, not feet first, sliding head first and overtime, and took a knock to the head. Unfortunately, he's in concussion protocol. We'll talk about that. But he's listed as questionable.
Yep,
not doubtful, not out.
That's
questionable.
Hopeful. That's hopeful.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, look, I feel good. I think this is a thing. Look, as many fans, I'm going to say this, y'all. I've had so many people ask me, like, should we bench Arch just to give him some time to think? Should we do? No, stop it. Stop it. Arch Manning is our quarterback. He has improved every game. Caldwell came in and threw on a dime, and I respect and love him for that. That's great. But no, this is Arch Manning's team. If he's healthy, he should play. He has improved every single week. And again, we're talking more about the line that he's playing behind and what he's got going on there versus is he capable of playing? So hell no. If Arch Manning can play, you don't sit him, you don't rest him. This is Arch's team. These are the games that matter the most. You put Arch in because Arch is still your best chance to win. This is the guy that's been taking all the snaps, has been practicing with the team since the season started, since before the season started. He is your best chance to win. It is his team. You go with your quarterback if you can.
Especially after we finished that game with such a hot hand.
Absolutely.
Such a hot hand, and finally getting that connection. However, this is concussions, we know, are brain injury.
Right.
There is a protocol. There's a process you have to do. Unfortunately, Nadia has been in concussion protocol, so we're very familiar. But there's like baby step by baby step. And this list of like 30-something symptoms, and you have to rate each one every day, 1 to 10, headaches, light sensitivity, noise sensitivity, all these different things, balance, blah, blah, blah. And fortunately for tech players at this level, elite Texas level players and college athletes, they have massive, where their base measurements
where their
are.
baseline is.
Yeah, their baseline measurements for all their things, right? Mm-hmm. So they can compare and contrast at the highest level, right? So they know if Arch, if the doctors at Texas feel that Arch is ready to go and the coaching staff and all the people, then you just trust that he's ready, right?
Yeah.
This is a quarterback that everyone is expecting to be playing way beyond Texas. So, and any young man, you want their brain to be healthy.
Yeah. Protect your noggin.
Yeah. Protect your noggin, everyone. Also, especially Arch Manning. But that's good to see. So we'll talk about Arch in just a second, but let's also look at a couple of the names. Michael Taft listed now as questionable. I'm sure he will do anything and everything he can to help the team after what they saw last week.
That man's going to be wearing an iron club on his hand. He won't care.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Lance Jackson, number 40. He was in that overtime play, chasing down Shape and almost got the sack, but did hold him enough for everyone else to come in and force that fumble. So I was surprised to see he got injured at some point or at some point in the last couple days. Could have been practice or could have just been some kind of sorted. We don't know yet, but he's listed as questionable. So hopefully he's fine. But he just played his biggest snaps. He's making an impact.
Yeah.
And then Cole Hudson, who the offensive line would sure likes him back. He was starting, if anything, come back and add depth, but he was a starter there. Okay, so let's look at the this is something we got to talk. If Arch Manning is in concussion protocol, He's good enough to drive. He got pulled over. CB said Arch got the UTPD.
Listen.
I thought it was the AP Austin Police
No, this
Department.
is UTPD.
UTPD. Okay, so they're gonna just give him a little warning.
No,
right?
let me just say this. The thing that I love about this photo is it truly
Let's
shows
zoom
you
in and see who this is. Okay, go ahead.
It truly shows you, that might be, no, that's UTPD.
That might be. Yeah.
So it truly shows you the universal experience of being a student at the University of Texas. I don't think anybody has escaped the wrath of UTPD ever. I got so many parking tickets there. Parking tickets are just a thing.
They'll give you a ticket if your tire is on the line.
Right. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Anyway, we're happy to see him driving. We're happy to see him there. Hopefully this is a good
Hopefully he didn't get pulled over because he's so concussed. He's driving like.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, CB, that's a good one. The Forrest Gump scene where he just stops running and says, "I'm pretty tired. I think I'll go home now." Yep, we're all tired, man. We're going home now. I love it. Yeah. So, all right. So hopefully Arch is back in. We know Caldwell. We were encouraged by what we saw. That was nice to see. But again, look, at the end of the day,
limited we've seen.
QB1 is your QB1. You always want to have your QB1 in. So
let's listen to Sark talk about. He was asked about Caldwell and even Lacey.
Yep.
Now that moves KJ Lacey up to QB2, right?
Well, I think the good thing for Matt, he's a very even keel guy. I thought he had a great practice today. I think the players have a lot of confidence in him. I think it's his maturity, his approach. He's very engaged even when he doesn't play. If you ever watched our sidelines in game, 18 is probably the most engaged player on that sidelines. He's always picking guys up, offense, defense, special teams. And so he's got a really good relationship with the guys. And so I don't think it's like, well, who's this guy? He's in a lot of faces a lot of the times. And so it felt very comfortable, felt very normal today. I thought the bigger thing for today was that KJ Lacey got reps with the twos. And I thought that was really good for him. He's a very talented player who's been growing and getting better. So it was fun for us to see him get more reps today.
All right, we can take off the Arch Manning PD picture. All right, so Caldwell, we only seen him limited with us. We know he was at Troy last year, and we saw he's got some wheels. I know it was against San Houston State, but what? But are they going to risk running him the way they've been physical with Arch, because that's so much part of Arch's game? Are they going to risk? They said, Caldwell actually has a good command of the RPO, play action, the quicker passing games, more like a Quinn style passing game. But are you going to risk running him? Is that even really going to be an option when, if he goes down, you have KJ Lacey, true freshman, who is not as
not as many snaps,
not ready to go at this level. You don't want to rush him either, too, right? What do you think?
No, look, I think if it comes down to it, I mean, Caldwell's your guy, but you always want to go with Arch Manning. You always want to go with your starter. If you have to go with Caldwell, I like it. But again, like we talked about earlier, you play with strengths. We know that Arch has got some legs on him. Arch is one of the fastest dudes on the team. You've got to adjust your play calling if you've got Caldwell in. You don't expect Caldwell to perform in the same way that Arch Manning's going to. You don't expect him to bring the same skill set that Arch Manning is going to bring. So, no, I don't think you run Caldwell like you would Arch. You've got to play to his strengths.
Yeah. All right. So right now the spread last I saw was 1.5, 2.5 Texas. Apparently, was it Josh Payton? I just love him. I think he's the one who said that in the summer, if you had put Texas against Vanderbilt in a neutral field, Texas would have been favored by 20.5.
No, which is crazy.
Now in a neutral field, Vanderbilt would be favored by 1.5. It's a 3 touchdown swing of the way Vanderbilt has performed this last 9 weeks and the way Texas has performed the last 9 weeks. So there is a lot to be said of respect to be given to what Vanderbilt is bringing to Austin.
But it's also about crazy expectations too, right? Like, I don't know. I'll argue that, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just saying what Vegas would put the number.
No, I understand that. I'm just
Fortunately,
saying.
we get them here. We remember last year at different rosters, but Pavia was still leading their team. Of course, we had Quinn at the time, but we in Nashville last year, Texas could have pulled away by two touchdowns if it wasn't Kobe Black had that pick six, and then Vernon Broughton had that late hit on the quarterback, and that was a 14-point swing right there. Like there was some funky, weird things about that game that just that Quinn had a couple of interceptions. Like it was just a weird, game on the road. But how do you feel? Like, okay, let's start with like, how do you feel that Texas's defense? What do you think their plan will be against Pavia and this offense with their big tight end and their methodical game plan of dinking and dunking and then him weaseling around?
Yeah, look, I think it's contain Pavia. Make sure that you keep on him and that you pressure him. I'd like to see more of those ears pinned back, send Ant Hill, send Colin Simmons, send him all right. Like, look, I respect Pavia as a player. I think he has done some good things as a player. But what I will say is if you really look at the numbers, Rocky, like and maybe I'm being a hater here. Maybe this is just my hater segment. But I think Pavia is a really, really good player. I don't understand the Heisman talk and the Heisman hype around him right now.
Because he's exciting.
Okay. And
I mean, look at Manziel. He didn't win. He didn't even compete for a championship that year. And speaking of Pavia, him and Manziel are like this, right? He wears number 2 for Manziel. But even Manziel didn't win anything.
I mean, he beat Alabama.
I know,
year.
but what's to do what? To go to a bowl? To go to a Cheez-It Bowl? Like, it doesn't matter if you don't
Cotton Bowl.
If you don't compete for championships.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And again, I argue this. You and I go back and forth on this a little bit. I think the Heisman should be reserved for the best player in the game, not the most successful player in the game. So I get that a little bit, but where I argue is if you really look at Pavia's numbers, like he's not, listen, I think like numbers wise, Marcel Reed looks like a better quarterback than Pavia does to me. I'll say that. And look, also let's look at this right here. So if you compare,
and we're talking about the SEC QBs versus ranked teams.
Correct. So Pavia versus ranked teams, he ain't doing so hot, my friend. He is down at the bottom with a 57.
He's in the bottom of the SEC.
Yeah, 57% completion percentage against ranked teams. Now, granted, he's only played 2 ranked teams, 2 games, so small sample size. I'll give you that. In those combined 2 games, he's had 327 yards. He's 6.1 yards per attempt. He's had 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions with a quarterback rating of 107 versus the ranked team, right? So, look, I will say I struggle a little here.
They've played more than 2 ranked teams because they got beat by Alabama, but they played LSU and LSU was ranked, and they just played Missouri and Missouri was ranked.
So I think they are looking at.
This might be just a week behind or something.
Maybe it's a week behind.
But either way, he's towards the bottom of the.
I'm just saying, like when you put him up against stiffer competition,
right?
And look, my concern here is that Texas's defense didn't look like the Texas defense we know against Mississippi freaking State. So Pavia absolutely has the ability, if they play that tempo game, if they can establish that run game and Texas can't stop it, Pavia absolutely has the ability to make things a problem for Texas. What I will say is I don't quite understand the Heisman hype about him right now.
Well, I hope he doesn't win a Heisman in Austin on Saturday, because we've seen some quarterbacks win a Heisman against Texas.
Have some good. All right. So let's talk about this. Like, let's talk about some keys to the game. What does Texas need to do? What does Vandy need to do? What are some things that we need to look out for? Let's jump into that.
All right. For me, on offense, what Texas needs to do is to be able to run the ball, especially if it's Caldwell that's coming in. I'm not saying he's not a great quarterback. I'm just saying you always help a young or inexperienced quarterback by establishing the run game. We know that Wisner and Baxter are excited to be back together. Baxter had his get the rust off game last week on the road. This time they're back at home.
Mhm.
We know we still have Simon and Clark and other young guns that can come in and rotate in. They'll probably get more opportunity at home too, because it's harder to trust people on the road.
Yeah, it is.
So they'll get the opportunity too. So I would just say the offense really, and it's so hard to all of a sudden manufacture a run game, but with both of the two, leaders in that room, in that running back room, healthy and ready to go, please run the ball. Use the clock. Help your young quarterback. If it is either way, if it's Arch or Caldwell or KJ Lacey, whoever is out there, gotta get physical with the run game.
Yeah, look, I do agree. You've got to establish a run game. And I think we'll see this. Like we talked about a little bit earlier, when Wisner came back off the injury, he was a little rusty. He had a little bit of trouble getting going. And then we saw him against OU.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, a whole different runner. I'm hoping we see that with backs, right? A little bit rusty, a little bit slow to get going against Mississippi State. But hopefully these guys are in sync now, and we're going to see a good 1-2 punch there. What I will say, where I will differ just a little bit, is depending on who we see. I agree. If it's Caldwell, run the ball. Run the ball, establish that. What I will say is, though, with Texas, with Arch Manning, we've seen some success with throwing the ball. When we can't get that run game going, Texas is doing okay throwing the ball. Give them some high percentage throws. Give them some opportunities. Like the schemes that we've had, there have been some opportunities, not just in the middle, but also burning them down the edges. So if we see Arch Manning and we have that opportunity, take them. I would like to see Texas take some of those shots down the field to really establish, like, hey, F you, this is our house. We're going to come in. We're going to score early. We're going to make you cover the whole field. You can't stack the box against us. You're not going to stop the run because we're going to make you be scared about the throw too. So I would like to see that a little bit as well with if Arch Manning is in, right?
Yeah, I just worry because Vanderbilt, as good as their offense is, they do have a really good defense. And they force fumbles and they get tackled for loss. If we're trusting this offensive line to hold up in pass protection too much or too often or too long,
that's fair.
That's asking for trouble.
That's fair.
So we'll see what happens with that. But I would just, anytime you have a young or experienced, or if Arch is still limited in any way, got to get the run game going. And also the run game establishes that physicality. It tells them that we're here to, take it to you. And I would like to establish physicality because we're talking about an age gap of, the Texas team, 18, 19 years old. They're pretty young.
Yeah.
The average age is 19 or 20. Vanderbilt, 22, 23-year-old.
Pavia's like 43 years old with two kids and a mortgage.
He's got he's writing Christmas cards. And, all right. Defense, Texas defense. What I would like them to do is just their job, right?
Do your job. No, I like that.
And I mean that in the way that gap integrity, cover your space, go, do your job. Don't try to do too much and keep Pavia in front of you. He is talented. He can run. He can throw. He can run to throw. He can do all the things, extend the plays with his feet and his arm. He's gutsy. He's physical. He will take it to you. Nothing but respect for his game. But also, we have speed on defense. We have physicality on defense. And if we can keep him in front of you, that to me is going to be huge. We know that their offensive line, I think they're the only team in the country that they don't have, right guards and left guards and right tackle, left top tackle. They flop strong side and weak side. And that to me is more like rugby, because in rugby, we have a strong flanker and a weak flanker. And we go flip to the side of where the ball is happening, and strong wing and weak wing, and we flip fields to where the action is happening, and they do that knowing they could be even queuing off which way they're going to run or throw, what side's happening, and they still will okay, now what? We're telling you which side we're going, and what are you going to do about it? So that means they really trust their schemes and their physicality and their execution. So Texas is going to have to be really disciplined on gap integrity and just doing their job, not trying to do more
too much.
But also go all out, but don't do too much. All right. Anyway, what do you got for defense? What do you need to see from the defense?
Look, from the defense, again, I want to see those ears pinned back. I want to see Ant Hill going at it. I want to see Colin Simmons getting out there. I want to see them pressuring the quarterback, making some breaks through. You're right. They are a good defense. They protect him well, but you have got to break through and you've got to get in Pavia's head. We saw that last year in Nashville, right?
Mhm.
When Texas was able to get to Pavia and when they were able to mess with his mind a little bit and he heard those footsteps, he started making some poor decisions. So I think that's going to be a big key to the game. You've got to get your defense back. You've got to cover well enough to be able to give your guys time to get to Pavia, get in his head, contain him, but also make them hear those ghosts, see those ghosts, and make poor decisions. So I think that's something really important for the defense.
All right. I agree. Also, when I think of one word to describe Vanderbilt's offense, I say methodical.
Yeah.
They are methodical. They get you sleeping on one thing and then trick you another way.
Yeah.
They will keep you guessing the entire time. They are skilled. They have big tight ends. Probably the best tight end in the country, Stowers. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the country, but they also are just very clever in how they move down the field. So Texas is going to have to be really disciplined and really try to get off the field. We can't do another game of being out on the field. Vanderbilt doesn't go 80, 90 plays like other teams, but they do take their time. They use the clock. They will extend the time and make the drives last long, and that can wear down the defense too. Hopefully, with being the home crowd, will really help the defense to get them off the field, but that's going to matter too. Can't have these 10 plus plays, 12 plus play drives down the field. All right, special teams. What do you want to see in special teams? I'll go first. The points are going to matter. Take the points. I know Shipley has been a little bit shaky, especially on the road.
Yeah.
It's been away from home.
Yeah.
Shipley's been a little shaky, but when it mattered, he did make that field goal to get it within 10, down to 7 late in the game when it mattered. So being hopefully at home a little safer. We need to not give him 55-yarders to kick. How about we get a little closer and help him out? But either way, take the points. In a game like this, the points are going to matter.
Yeah, absolutely. My criticism of Shipley has been from 50 and beyond, he's been a little shaky. Now, he had a not great game against Mississippi State.
Oh, yeah.
We were lucky to dink one in. He missed some from short, and then he
missed a gimme at 29 yards or something.
So again, I think in a game like this is going to matter. Those points are going to matter. Taking those points, 3 points, 6 points, 9 points, like that ends up mattering in this game. So I agree with you, Rocky. You've got to put Shipley in a position to be successful. Don't give him 50-yarders to make. Put him in high percentage kicks. Rely on him there. He's got a good leg. He's a consistent dude when he's under 50. Give him those opportunities, right? I agree. Being at home on a home field, you've got that advantage. He will perform better. So put him in a position to win, but take the damn points. Like that is absolutely a thing here too. Another thing I will say is, look, Nibs has been incredible. And we know, I think Vandy's going to be smart about trying not to kick to Niblet. But you've got to create other opportunities. I think it's going to be really important in this game for special teams to flip the field for Texas.
Yeah.
You have to win that field position battle because, again, Vanderbilt and Pavia, this is a team that is absolutely able to move the football. It's a team that's absolutely able to score. So you've got to put your defense in the best position possible. You've got to flip that field and make them march 90 yards. Make them march 85 yards, right? You got to put them in a better position to win. So special teams, that's how we're going to be relying on them. Anything else there?
Yeah, I agree. This is going to be a team where they are good on third down defense, and when they get Texas off the field on third down, that's going to happen. Texas has to take advantage of the opportunity to pin them deep. We've seen a couple times where, beautiful punts by Bomeister where, the Gunners get down there and maybe it bounces out into a touchback when it could have been down within the 5.
Yeah.
Those little missed opportunities, those are going to make 100%. A difference, and they add up over a game. So hopefully we can take advantage of those at home. That helps a lot.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll say a quick hello, shout out, Mike D, just joining the show. And you said, do you think Vandy is a good matchup for us? I actually do.
I do too.
And we'll give our score prediction in just a minute when we wrap up when we talk about the college football picks for this week. We'll give our actual score predictions, but I feel overall the Texas defense is going to keep us in this game, and I feel like their secondary, they're out of the top 100 in passing defense. So there are opportunities, especially just coming off, and even Caldwell can throw the ball. So there's opportunities for the receivers to get yards after the catch like they did last week. So hopefully we can take advantage of that and just give enough space to have some kind of running game.
Yeah, I like it.
All right.
It's good.
Okay. Let's dive into college football. We'll kind of give our quick thoughts about what happened last week in college football, and then we'll give our picks for Texas and Vanderbilt this weekend. There was a lot last weekend, but we won't have to cover it all. We'll just quickly talk about that, and then we'll give our score predictions. I think the biggest games of last weekend was, of course, I think the biggest thing that happened last weekend was the Aggies going into LSU.
Yeah.
LSU ranked number 20. I thought they were trash. I've been saying this every week that I think they're overrated. But still going into Death Valley on a Saturday night is tough to do. It was a back and forth game for about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, look, I thought LSU was going to be trash. I have said I don't think they are what they have been ranked. However, I agree with that, Rocky. Like going into LSU, Death Valley at night, I thought LSU would show us fine, but turns out.
And you know what? The Aggies kicked their butt so bad that they fired their coach. And I know Brian Kelly has kind of already been a little bit out the door anyway. They were screaming, they were cheering fire. Here, watch this. Fire Kelly, they were saying at the game. So that's never good when your own fans are cheering for you to be fired. But it's been embarrassing the last couple weeks for LSU. This was the straw, right? They were paying him $50-something million to not coach.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Aggies look like a complete team, offense, defense, and special teams. They look like a complete team. Marcel Reed is killing it. Good for them. They get to come to Texas probably 11-0 when they come to Texas because they have
easier schedule.
Yeah, they get to play the third string quarterback at Missouri. They have Samford. Why does any real team schedule FCS? I don't know. And then they have what's the other team? South Carolina. So they have 3 very winnable games before they come to Texas. So there you go. Another big game, Ole Miss at Oklahoma. Did you watch that game?
I caught pieces of it. Yeah.
So it was on the TVs when we went out to lunch on Saturday, and that was a back and forth brawl. Ole Miss survived at Oklahoma. Good for them. Nothing else really. Missouri Vanderbilt. That was a good game. Very low scoring, and that's why another reason I feel good about Texas this weekend, because Texas can do what Missouri did.
Yeah.
With the defense that Missouri had. Hopefully put up more points but give him pressure. And, Pavia did enough with his feet with a touchdown in the red zone, but maybe Texas can do better of keeping them out of the red zone. Like Texas does a good job. The rest of the games, whatever. That was pretty much the biggest games of the weekend. Yeah, Brian Kelly getting fired was the biggest story. You and I were talking about nowadays that coaches don't get enough time, right? Florida's gone. All the big jobs that are open. LSU. What's the other big one that's open right now? We were talking about all these big jobs.
Penn State.
Penn State. He had enough time though. Franklin had enough time.
Look, and this is something I don't want to linger too much on it. This is a conversation for a shoot 'em off separate podcast, right? But look, I find it funny that we're sitting here talking about Brian Kelly getting fired and everybody's saying, look, I don't know that I've ever seen a situation where current and former players were celebrating the firing of their head coach openly and publicly the way that they were with Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
So let me say this. Now that he's gotten fired, you see all of these stories come out about what a piece of shit he is and how terrible he is. Like, we know that the kid died on that scissor lift when it was advised that they should not be outside. He decided to practice outside. He wanted the kid up there filming the practice
in the wind,
in 50 mile an hour wind. And it was said that the scissor lift should not be used. I think it was like above 20 or 25 miles an hour. He made the choice. Sizzler failed. The kid fell. And
Students, don't ever go when you don't have to listen to those coaches if you're in
but
danger.
but there have been other stories of, you know, a woman suffering sexual assault and him poo-pooing that. And there have been stories about how Brian Kelly treats his players, how he does this. What I want to
cares if he's winning.
Yeah, but that's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Like, why are we in a position? Why are we in a world where a guy, like, I get that you win and okay, cool, but like Brian Kelly isn't winning, and also you're an asshole. But also we're talking about he's probably going to get another high-paying job. Can we please, as a society, look at these men and say, hey, with all of these coaches that are coming up, we have up and coming coaches. We have coaches that are looking for opportunities. Can we please stop recycling the same old worn out piece of shit dudes that have proven themselves not to be good human beings, have proven themselves to be awful characters, to proven themselves to not be men that are going to help raise your kid, help develop your players, not only as players, but also as high character young men? Can we please stop prioritizing just, oh, well, he does well in an interview and he's won some games in the past? Maybe we look at the whole package. Maybe we start looking at, he can also build character. He is also a good person. He also, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think now that, especially when big money, big TV money, big NIL money, big transfer portal money, I think we're going to get even further away from. I'm not saying there's not going to be wonderful, good.
Yeah, no, I hear
men.
you. I hear
like,
you.
There's good Marcus Freemans in the world. Like,
Yeah.
there are good, honorable men who are leading young men to
Coach
be
Sark,
great
man.
student athletes. Coach Sark. There's good people out there. Even Coach Elko seems to be doing it the right way.
Absolutely.
But I'm saying there's always going to be good men like that. But I think there's also still going to be people that just win, baby, you know, and that they're naming a high school after Art Briles.
Well, that's the thing.
Like, there's not going to be a low for some people. As long as you win, they won't care.
That's what's crazy to me. Like, Art Briles getting a high school named after him. Urban Meyer constantly being in conversations and coaching searches. Things like that. I just, Brian Kelly shouldn't coach again. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. And also, let's look at LSU and talk about how the hell does their AD still have a job?
The governor stepping in to say that the AD will not be hiring the coach.
What a shit show, though, right? Like, you're the dude that had that record-setting contract at Texas A&M for Jimbo Fisher, who sucked and got fired and was paid $1 gajillion to not coach. You're also the dude who paid Brian Kelly, a raging piece of shit, a boatload of money to come in with a fake Cajun accent and then not win games.
Yeah.
And then you're paying him a buttload of money to not coach. At what point do you just fire the AD? It feels like it's time for LSU.
Because they need a puppet in that spot, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, everyone's agreeing Kelly was not a great fit. Mike D, thanks for bringing up the Kiffin trash talking after the game. Lane Kiffin at the OU. The OU player went by and he kind of barked at a little OU player saying, yeah, this guy thought we weren't, they weren't, I don't know, we could run on or tackle, whatever he kind of said at the player. But this is the thing, and I saved this video to show you. This is the thing that was kind of funny was Kiffin, I won't play the whole thing just a piece, but him talking about, he was asked about Brent Venables saying that they had the better team.
Who?
Burnt Vegetables.
Thank you.
Burnt Vegetables
Thank
saying
you.
he had the better team,
Yeah.
OU coach. And they didn't explain to Kiffin that Burnt Vegetables had actually said that before the game, before they got just barely beat at home, but it was a tough game. This is what I love Lane Kiffin, listening to him.
Your thoughts following the game, Coach Brent Venables said you felt like he had the better team. Just your overall thoughts on that.
That's an interesting take. That's a hot take. You have a better team. I wouldn't have thought that people watching would say that. I felt that we won at their place in weather that as a defensive head coach you would normally wish for, and won by 8 points. And I think we left a lot out there. I think we should have won by a couple scores. So I don't know how he evaluated that game, that they were the better team. I mean, we had way more yards, 21 first downs to 14, and we played, 87 plays of offense, and they had 1 sack and didn't force any turnovers. That's a interesting take, but whatever he needs to say.
And also following up to road trips
Maybe
to Georgia.
maybe they had the better team last year too when we beat them.
And then he goes on to be like, what about the year when we won 30 at the time that we were, he was dropping scores and dates on him from every time he's ever faced anyone where burnt vegetables was on the stat.
I appreciate a good receipt. I appreciate a good
He
receipt.
brought all the receipts.
I don't always agree with Lane Kiffin. I think he can be a little childish at times.
You know, I thought Petty was your favorite color.
Petty is my favorite color.
I thought you
And that's why I think I
lived
can-
for some Petty.
I can tolerate Lane Kiffin for sure. But I didn't
dig it.
I didn't hate seeing that. I
I
didn't
know.
hate seeing it.
That was pretty funny. All right, so bigger picture now, how the games from last weekend affected the top 25. This is where we are now. Ohio State still undefeated. Number one, they were actually off last weekend. I think they were off last weekend. Yeah, they were. Indiana handled UCLA. UCLA, the little Cinderella story for 2 or 3 weeks.
She done.
They gone. Aggies still up there ahead of Bama and Georgia. Looking ahead, Texas plays 3 top 10 teams in the next 4 games. And the 4th one is a really, really good offensive team in Arkansas. And then you see Miami's dropped down to 10, Notre Dame 12. So Notre Dame's looking like they should take one of the top 12 spots. That could hurt Texas if they don't get their stuff together for a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah.
OU, how's OU still ranked ahead of us? It'd be one thing if they were in the top 5 or 8. They're number 18 and Texas is 20, and Texas manhandled them. Anyway, doesn't matter. Anyway, there you go. So there's the rest of the top 25, Michigan, Houston, whatever. Tech dropped down to 13. They are dropping with injuries too. We'll talk about them another time. All right. So let's kind of look just a couple of big games this weekend. We're still in the time where there's football every day. We had college football last night.
Us being sickos tonight watching Middle Tennessee State.
We were watching Jacksonville
State.
I don't know what we were watching something.
But it was fun.
But quick note, serious note, sending love to Crosby family, a player that was injured last night at the Texas State game. Serious note, hope he's going to be okay. That looked scary, and both teams come together and send him love. And I went to Texas State too, so sending love to that family. So looking ahead to this weekend, we thought the biggest game of the weekend would be Penn State at Ohio State. Number 2, Penn State at number 1, Ohio State. No, Penn State is gone. They fired their coach. They long gone. Number 10, Miami goes to SMU. Any upset alert there? No.
At SMU. I mean, I'd love to say it.
SMU has been like this year.
Yeah.
We know Texas Vanderbilt is also the 11 a.m. game. We'll come back to that. Afternoon game, the Georgia, Florida, what do they call that game?
Biggest
the biggest
cocktail
party.
Mm-hmm.
Any upset alert? This is surprising. Georgia's only favored by 7.5, and Florida doesn't even have a coach.
Look, I think
in a neutral site.
This is where I say
upset alert.
Everybody talks all this trash about Texas and how they played Florida, but Florida's got some shit up their sleeve. They've got talent on that team. This is going to be
Texas knows that.
Yeah, this is going to be a neutral site game with a lot of passion and enthusiasm behind it. While I don't think it's an upset alert, I do think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. I don't think upset alert, but don't be surprised if they're upset. Number 12, Notre Dame goes to Boston College. Come on, Boston College, upset Notre Dame. We need them to have 3 losses.
Probably not going to happen with Notre Dame being a 28.5 point favorite.
Yeah, they're favored by 4 touchdowns. Texas Tech, number 13, they're going to Kansas State. And we mentioned this because Texas Tech is on that edge of trying to get into the Big 12 championship game. They paid lots of good money to get a great roster, but they've gotten bit by a lot of serious injuries. Kansas State just whooped up on Kansas and their little, what's their rivalry called? Do you remember? There's some name for it.
Farmageddon.
There you go. Thank you. You know all the names. That's why I just asked you. I'm not going to Farmageddon. It was close for about 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then Kansas State was gone. But they get to go, Tech is going to Kansas State. 7.5 point favorites. I'm going to go ahead and call the upset. Kansas State wins that game. They're on a roll.
Okay, yeah. And Texas Tech does have some injuries right now. They just lost their backup quarterback with a full ACL tear. He's expected to be out for the rest of the season. So
are they now down to their third quarterback? Or
they still have their starter.
The first one had a leg injury.
He was hurt, and then he's back, but he's questioned.
So if he comes back, he's limited at best. All right, I need to go look at their roster because I know they've taken some hits. Yeah. And I have to mention Michigan State is at Minnesota. This is a big game, 3 p.m. 0-3, 0-4, whatever. Mississippi State at winless Arkansas. SEC. No wins in the SEC, Mississippi State, against no wins in the SEC, Arkansas. Arkansas is actually favored by 4.5 points.
At home, yeah.
At home. Does Mississippi State finally get an SEC win, or does Arkansas finally get an SEC win?
Look, I'm rooting for Mississippi State, but I do think that, Arkansas takes this one at home. I think that it's going to be tough. Like you said, Arkansas is a good offensive team. They can score some points, but I don't know, man. I'm rooting for Mississippi State. I'm hoping they're winning. I hope they take it on. I'm going to cheer for them.
Yeah, I'm going to cheer for them.
But unfortunately, I think Woo Pig has this one.
All right. The woeful South Carolina Gamecocks go to number 7 Ole Miss. Just, evening games, 6 p.m. 6:30, there's a few good games. Georgia Tech at NC State. Georgia Tech is only 5.5 point favorites.
Number 8 Georgia Tech.
Undefeated number 8 Georgia Tech they have Haynes King. He's amazing. And he's
playing some fun football this year.
He's fun to watch. And they have Blake Gideon running an elite defense there. Fantastic what's happening at Georgia Tech. They go to NC State. That might be interesting to watch. Only favored by 5.5. OU, are they on their skid? We said that they were starting to hit the rough patch, and I think this word on the streets is Texas broke OU because they lost again, and could they lose again at number 14 Tennessee?
100%. Tennessee's got this all the way. Tennessee's a good damn team. OU is a fraud. I'm telling you. Okay. Tennessee takes this.
Tennessee's only favored by a field goal at home.
They win and they cover by a lot. I'm calling it now.
All right. Do you think they would kick them while they're down?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Let's go. All right, USC, number 23, USC, that classic Big Ten matchup of USC and Nebraska. That's happening. USC has not done well on the road this year, probably because they have to go cross-country. But the rest of the time, they only have to go half-country to Nebraska.
Crazy.
And they're favored by about a touchdown on the road.
Sure.
This is the college game day of the week because – it probably could have been Vanderbilt at Texas, but they just did Vanderbilt last week in Nashville. So whatever, we don't need no college game day. Number 17 Cincinnati to 24 Utah, a Big 12 matchup. These two teams competing for the Big 12 title opportunity. And I always like to list the latest game of the night because some of us are up at 12:30 a.m. watching the end of college football, and that is Hawaii at San Jose State. So they have to fly that's not too bad, from Hawaii to California, 6-hour flight.
Yeah.
And then that doesn't start till 9:30 p.m. our time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time is the last game of the night, college football game of the night. My favorite is when they list the game to be 11:59 p.m. because it can't be Sunday. All right. Anyway, so let's give a couple of one more college thing. No, CB, the Beach Boys will be at.
Did you not?
I didn't see it. I haven't been scrolling too much today.
Yeah.
The Beach Boys will be at Longhorn City Limits. That would probably be after the game because the game's early morning.
After.
Right. Okay, cool.
I think that's one of those things where people are going to look at it and be like, meh, but they're going to put on the most amazing
it's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, Megan, a couple of fun top stories. We wrap up, and then we'll get going because it's getting late tonight. A couple of top stories. I wanted to show you my Tennessee Titans and your former Longhorn tight end, Gunnar Helm. He got his first touchdown. He had his first touchdown.
He sure did.
I feel like our little baby's growing up.
Pollard in motion. Ward fakes the handoff, looking to throw it, and he's got a wide open Gunnar Helm for his first NFL touchdown. And what a...
Hey, I'm not going to tell you that was probably the only points he scored that whole game, but congratulations, Gunnar Helm, lifetime Longhorn. A couple of cool news stories that I wanted to tell you. So we know UTRGV is this was their first year of real football, and they are hot. They're like 6-1 or 7-1 or whatever. They just beat the defending champions in their conference, whatever that conference is. But the cool thing is they are playing next year their first game against an FBS team. Next year they're playing UTSA.
Yeah.
That's going to be so great. I'm so excited. Anyway, so you wanted to show this picture of...
Yeah, we actually wanted to talk about this a little bit earlier. We ran out of time, but F1 was in Austin last weekend, two weekends ago now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just wanted to show this. If y'all haven't seen it, this was the trophy for F1 for winning in Austin. What a cool trophy. So this is actually, if you take a look at it, it is actually the COTA track, the Circuit of the Americas track, duplicated.
Oh, it is.
To make the Longhorn head with horns on it. So they made the trophy into a Longhorn head for the Austin win.
Oh, that's so,
but it is the
like
F1
metal,
track.
It's metal
It's all metal.
work.
Yeah, it's all metal work. The whole thing is metal. It's just really beautiful. This was one of the most creative, coolest trophies I've seen. And every piece of F1, like, all of the guys in F1 were like, hell, they thought it was the coolest thing. Everybody loves this trophy. It's a big deal. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's just one of the most, again, as a graphic designer, I think it's one of the most intelligent trophies ever. And it's just fun. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
That's really cool. Okay, something that's very, 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 very special to me is this news. So I grew up in Austin. Well, we both did. I went to Shady Grove.
Yeah.
The restaurant Shady Grove my whole life. Like when I was little, I would just remember like high school, college, like Shady Grove. Anytime friends and family visited from anywhere in the world, take them to Shady Grove.
Yeah.
Get a tortilla fried queso,
chili cheese fries,
tortilla fried queso, catfish, and if you know about the corn fritters and not on the menu, you can ask for those. Just the Frito pie in the bag, the twice baked cheese potato, the Shady thing.
Yep.
Like I love Shady Grove so much. They closed during COVID, which to me, and I even tried ordering. I would like go order and pick up during COVID times and all that just to try to help keep them alive.
Couldn't keep up.
No,
yeah.
they didn't. They closed, and it's still an empty, overgrown lot right on Barton Springs. Anyway, they are opening a new location in Kyle, Texas, and it's going to be called A Little Shady.
That's cool.
I'm so excited. So I will be. When they open, I can't wait. Yeah, that's going to be really cool. So, Megan, this is pretty funny. So have you been following the Paris Louvre jewel heist?
Yeah, which is crazy. The crown jewels, right? Got stolen.
Yeah, the crown. So this is what was stolen. Let me see if I can. Yeah, this video shows like the jewels and stuff.
Yeah, it's like millions and millions of dollars of priceless jewels of like necklaces and earrings and all kinds of stuff that were taken.
Yeah.
Just from out in the open in the Louvre.
Yeah, the TikToks have been epic and amazing. Okay, so apparently these are the two they caught two of the people so far, and these are the two of the men so far that were part of this heist. And this has everybody thinking of the Lugione, what's his name? Luigi guy that allegedly murdered the United Healthcare, and people were like, oh my God, he's so hot. He's so gorgeous. And they wanted like, hey, I have United Healthcare. Anyway, so these are the two guys that
you can steal my jewels any day.
And there's all these women in France that are going crazy over these good-looking men. And they're saying, oh, I happen to have jewels just laying on my bedroom side table, and my bedroom is unlocked. Come on and steal from me.
I love it.
Anyway, I thought I've been following this story because
it's what I mean. You wouldn't think that things would get stolen from the Louvre. That's crazy.
And the way they use like a construction ladder and desks.
That's crazy.
Walked on in.
All right. So there was one other thing I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
We are a former Big 12 team. I still follow some K-State folks. I still appreciate them. And since we're on the topic of robbery and theft, I wanted to bring this up. I don't know if y'all have seen this. This was a K-State had released a championship drink. I guess it's a liquor. It's clear, so I'm guessing it's a vodka. It's a whiskey bottle. All right. On the left, my friends, you see what they were supposed to get. On the right, you see what they get. Now, look, on the left, for those of us listening, on the left, it's a highly designed, detailed glass whiskey bottle that is a fully detailed K-State logo with the Wildcat logo with the stripes and the whiskers in the side and everything, and the K-State, a really pretty ornate cork at the top with a crown on it. And what you get on the right,
beautiful etched words,
7-time Big 12 champion, conference champions.
Wow, they've won the Big 12 7 times.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Texas only won it, what, 2?
4, but yeah, crazy. So then on the right, you see this craft ass Timu. My 5-year-old made a something for me in kindergarten where there's no detailing. It is very clearly hand shitty painted, and it just says Kansas State Wildcats.
It has like a sticker on it
with a plastic top. And the thing is maybe the size of a Coca-Cola can.
They are not the same.
No. Look, what you think you're ordering and what you get on Temu are 2 different things, but man, I'd be pissed. It's funny.
It's funny,
but
funny.
You gotta feel that it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Yes, CB Jade got his first INT on Sunday.
Yeah, in the K-State thing, CB was for football, baseball, basketball as well. Like it wasn't
they were
just
adding
football.
all their.
Yeah, they were talking about.
Just assume.
Yeah.
I was like, they didn't win.
Yeah, no,
football
no, it was talking
They
about
counting like soccer.
Yeah. They were talking about a lot, but again, that was supposed to be this like custom thing, and it was pretty sad. Like, how would you feel if you ordered something and got that? Like, would you be mad?
It depends how much I paid.
That's fair. The price point.
Yeah.
Matters.
If I got charged like $99 for something, I'd be pretty mad. But if I was paying $5.99, I'd be like, yeah, that's $5.99.
And it's funny, right?
All right, Mike D, I see y'all representing volleyball. Yes, if you get a chance, Mike D, I know you joined us late. Scroll back to the beginning of the show. We talked about volleyball. Megan was at the game at LSU, and we gave love and sent them horns up because they're playing Friday on the road at A&M, and then they come back and they come back Sunday and play here at Kentucky. But yeah, we keep our. And we have beach volleyball too. I don't know if you can see it. We're representing beach volleyball too. Yes, we did give love to Scott early in the show. Megan, I know
lost my shit a little bit.
Yeah, it's sad, but we absolutely did give lots of love and respect and told everybody when you're at DKR celebrating your horns, all just from now on, give a little extra little horns up to legend Scott
Wilson.
Yes. So, but thank you for reminding us, Mama, if you missed that beginning of the show. Okay, Megan, let's wrap up. We're
got a lot in 2 hours.
I know, and we're like, we're gonna keep it short, hour and a half
never
tonight.
Did.
No, and hey, Trey Allen. Hey, y'all. Hey, thanks for joining. All right, Megan. So let's wrap up. We got to give our predictions for the game.
We do.
We almost forgot. We got to give our predictions for the Vanderbilt game.
You go first. I've got mine in my head.
Okay. We'll keep it quick because we're late. I'm going to say Texas home field advantage matters. Defense matters. Regardless, like Sark always says, you don't defend the quarterback, you didn't defend the system. I think you defend the quarterback and the system. But I think they know enough about Caldwell to adjust if he is playing this weekend, and it looks like he probably is. So I'm going to say I don't expect too high scoring because of our offensive struggles and backup quarterback maybe, and great defense on their side. So I'm going to say Texas does survive. I'm going to say something like 19-16 Texas.
Okay. All right.
Or 45-38 in overtime.
All right. I like it. I'm feeling, Rocky, a little more like it's been a long time since we've been home. This team's tired. This team's they've been road dogs for a hot minute. I would say if I'm going to put this out there, God help me when I say stuff like this. I think it's going to be Texas 38.
Oh, who's scoring all these points?
Vandy 24. I think Texas comes out. I think I do think we have Arch Manning. Even if not, I think our running game steps up. I think our guys are going to be reinvigorated by being home. They're playing that early 11 o'clock game, which they swear up and down they love so much.
Yep.
I think Texas is going to be excited to be back. I think they have a point to prove. So I'm You know what? I'm going to say it with my chest.
Yeah, you're saying it with your whole
38-24 Texas. We win by 2 touchdowns. I think that this is going to be a good game for us. Yeah, it's going to be a good one, man. Look, for all those being there, if you're going to be at the game, please be loud, be proud.
High scoring.
I'm expecting high scoring.
All right, let's see what other people say. Trey's saying 38-35.
You feel me, Trey?
Oh, man, we're going to give up 5 touchdowns to Vanderbilt.
I don't think that'll happen.
All right. Mama Commodore, you said that you can't lose because your hubby is a Vandy grad, Texas by 3. Mike D is around
More in your line.
Where I'm at, 17-13. Longhorns, everyone's picking Longhorn win. Miracle Martinez, hey girl. 27-24 Texas. Woo, everyone's tight games. Either way, everyone's about a field goal away. Megan's calling the butt kicking. Something tells me this defense really matches up well with Pavia.
I think this defense is offended by Pavia. So I think we roll, man. I like it.
Yes. Something tells me this defense is really prepared and can scheme and has the personnel.
Yeah.
However, I also feel like Pavia will make plays.
He will. That's why I'm giving him 24. That's 3 touchdowns and a field goal. I feel like I'm being generous here.
I love Megan and Rocky. Trey Allen, we love you too. All right, let's wrap up. So thank you so much. If you're not already liking and subscribing and following, we are at Fire the Cannon 1 on X/Twitter. On YouTube, you can find us at Fire the Cannon Podcast. You can follow there and subscribe. We will post the audio to these on all the audios, the Spotify, the Apple Podcasts, all those things tomorrow morning, so you can listen later or share it with a friend. Anything else, Megan?
No, I think that's it, y'all. Again, be loud, be proud, show up at DKR. It's going to be exciting to see everybody back home. I've aged some. I've taken years off of my life in these away games, but I'm excited to see everybody back home, everybody in burnt orange and everybody with their horns up, man. So we'll see you there. Until then, I'm Megan.
I'm Rocky.
And we are Fire the Cannon.